Hi, my name's Amanda. I am a coach and a trance channel, and welcome back to my series where I channel my higher self because, man, does she have some really cool insight to share with all of you. Another thing that I've noticed from doing this series in particular is how much wisdom we all hold inside of ourselves that we don't give ourselves credit for, that we don't know how to access, and that we don't fully trust. And up until now, I've been channeling the archangels and the ascended masters, expecting them to have all of this really incredible perspective that's been available inside of me this whole time. So for me, this series has been really, really special because it's allowed me to fully realize how much knowledge that I have inside of me that I haven't given myself permission to access or acknowledge before. So I highly encourage you guys to form a connection with your own higher selves and learn how to access that from within you, because everything that I'm bringing forward, you also have access to inside of you. With that out of the way, what my higher self is planning on bringing forward today is a conversation about love. And I know that can sometimes be like, wah, wah, like that's not that exciting. But one of the biggest themes that I've noticed in the work that I do, talking to people's souls, is that we don't inherently feel worthy of or capable of love. And we spend a lifetime trying to access it through our accomplishments, building connections outside of us. Everything we do is in search of love, which is ironic because we are love. And so despite being love and wanting love the most, we withhold love from ourselves and we search to access it outside of us, which is not where it's found in the first place. At the end of the day, love is accessed internally. And so she's going to bring forward a conversation about that, about why it is that we come here to feel a lack of love, how we search to find it, and then her perspective and the soul's perspective on what that experience does for your growth and development. It's fascinating, and I look forward to hearing your thoughts about it. Finally, every single month I host an online event called the Expansion Experience, where I channel a different archangel or ascended master or higher consciousness to bring forward a message for the group and then deliver personalized coaching and messages of guidance and wisdom from those beings of light. And this month, January 28th at 11 a.m. Eastern over Zoom, I'm going to be channeling Archangel Michael, who's going to be giving a talk all about ascension, what to expect in the coming months and years from the ascension process globally on this planet, and also what to expect individually. So each person is going to receive information, guidance, and support on how to navigate their own individual ascension process and how to ground into the gifts that are inherently available for them, that are going to be making themselves known over the next little while, and then how to become a guide and a leader and a friend and a confidant for those who are less able to both understand and access the safety, security, and love that's available to them in times of maybe less stability externally. And so they're going to be looking to you over the next months and years to guide them in a way that they haven't maybe up until now, and how to step into those shoes for yourself and for others. It's going to be an incredible event, and you can find information about that on my website under services and then under the Expansion Experience tab, amandalaurenblau.com. I hope you enjoy this higher self message, and I'll see you next week.
Hello once more. I am so excited to be here with you today, for I have much to say that I believe is on the mind of many of you from time to time, but it's not something that you think about consciously from day to day. And this is unfortunate because it is this very thing that is keeping you from feeling the way you desire to feel in your life. And this thing that I speak to so openly and abruptly at this time is the concept of self-love and compassion, which is a topic that is not often well understood on this planet because it is a topic that Many of you deem to be beneath you. And there's a reason for this, and is a valid reason at that. And I'm looking forward to speaking into it at length. The reason why you feel less than the way you desire to feel is because you do not allow yourself to feel the way you want to feel. And I understand that this is a frustrating response and notion, but this is the reality of the fact. The way you desire to feel is deeply loved and cared for. And yet there is a part of you that does not feel inherently worthy or capable or knowing how to provide this for you because it was never modeled to you in that way. What was modeled to you was a very different form of self-care. The way self-care was modeled to you was to work hard, to achieve great things, and to take time to consider what you desire in this life and how to fulfill that for you. But if these things provided to you the answer of what you're deeply desiring most, you would not still feel the loneliness, hatred, and frustration that lingers beneath the surface. And the notion that feeling valued comes from the external role that you play in society is exacerbating the very notion that feeling loved is earned and provided to you by others and not from inside you. Which, when you really think about it, is quite ironic because the only way to feel loved is to love you. The love that you desire to feel cannot be accessed from those outside of you because the reality of the fact is that they don't know how to love themselves. And if they don't know how to love themselves fully, then that is going to create a disruption in their ability to feel love and demonstrate love to those around them. And so you see the very nature of the society through which you have been raised is not to earn or show yourselves the love that you're deeply desiring, but rather to withhold it ever so gently and subtly from fully being accessed within. And this is not all bad. I am simply reflecting to you the truth of the matter. And what's funny is that when you pass through the veil into the other side, when this lifetime is done, it becomes a game to you to figure out how you can see this reflected through you the next time around, where you failed to do so the last. And you reincarnate over and over again, attempting to witness this incredibly obvious dynamic playing out, but for whatever reason, one that remains elusive while you're experiencing it. And there is a role to play inside of this illusion of love, and it is discovering that it exists. Because when you do not know that the illusion is there, then you continue to operate as if love is something to be desired but never fully accessed. And there is something to be gained inside of experiencing this. Because when all is said and done, when you do not know how to fully access the thing that you desire most inside of you, you learn how to be inside of a reality where it cannot be done. And when you leave this life and return to your soul self in its fully embodied state, you take with you a new way of seeing yourself in the world around you. For you are going from someone who does not show themselves love and affection to someone who is love and affection by the very nature of your vibration. And this creates a very strong understanding of the notion that it is possible to not feel the love of that which you are. And you take this understanding of you and you move forward with it in a new way. And from here, you can extend this teaching to those around you who are still observing it and working through it for themselves. And this is what we call an evolution in consciousness, my loves. The notion that love is fully available to you, but not knowing how to access it. And then remembering that it has been there all along. And remembering that it has been there all along does not necessarily make it easier to access, but there is a new way of seeing yourself inside of this reality that is the intriguing part of it. Seeing yourself through a new lens is what this is all about, my loves. This is the evolution of your soul self. Experiencing something in one way, learning from it, coming back and experiencing it again with a little bit more perspective. And each and every time that you do this, you see yourself through a different lens and you access a different way of being. And when you take each and every single one of those experiences and you put them together, you experience a wholeness that you did not have access to before. Because in the quote unquote afterlife, you're only experiencing yourself through one dimensional reality, being everything. And when you come here, you forget that that's accessible to you. And you feel small. And you feel less than. But the very nature of what you are is everything. You are the embodiment of all that is. And when you do not know how to feel less than, then there's a part of you that's missing from the equation. And so to fully experience all that is, you must experience aspects of you that are not necessarily desirable, but that are necessary to your growth and evolution on this planet and on others. What the soul desires most above all else is to experience itself in its fullness, to understand itself from every angle through the experience of it, the good and the bad, and the very nature of coming here on this particular planet inside of the energetic frequency that currently inhabits it is to experience the density available to you inside of it. And the experience of this density is not always enjoyable in the moment, but it is what you are going to take with you the most, my love. How can you allow the current experience of distress be something that is to be cherished? I understand the notion of cherishing your pain to be challenging. But I would love to offer you a little bit of wisdom that may make it a little bit easier for you. The challenge is not the experience of distress itself. It is the notion that it was earned and desired on some level and placed upon you as punishment. It is not a punishment to feel less than. It is simply a byproduct of your belief system. And it is possible to change this and feel differently inside of you. And this is where the choice comes from. The choice to see you in a new way, despite the world around you reflecting the same. For the notion that something must change outside of you in order for you to feel differently inside of you is what's keeping you in this loop of pain and suffering. How you feel about you is what changes how you feel about you. I am not saying that this is easily done. I'm saying that this is how it's done. And you can begin by accessing the current thoughts and belief systems that you hold around who you are and how you see yourself inside of this world. And then from there, questioning the notion that they are true. Are they true? Or were they simply things that you learned to be true based on those around you? And therefore, are they your truth? Or was it simply the energy that surrounded you as you were learning to be inside of you from a young age? And that's all you witnessed. And therefore, you adopted it as your own. And it became your narrative as a result. My love, the narrative that runs your life is self-imposed to a certain extent. Because the truth of who you are is much bigger than what you create in this lifetime. And this is the conflict that you will continue to see waging on inside of you. I know I'm worthy of more than this, but why can't I change? Grounding into the reality that you are worthy of more than this is change. Change does not take place externally. Change takes place on the inside. And once you can feel differently inside, you take different action inside of your life. And this is what creates the change externally. A different person makes different choices and creates a different reality as a byproduct, not the other way around. And when I say different person, I mean the version of you that sees themselves in a different light. This is the gift of ascension, my loves. The ability to see yourself in a different light. Nothing more, nothing less. And if ascension is something that calls to you and is something that you desire to experience, then you begin inside of you. Because at the end of the day, that's where your soul lies. And that's what your soul is seeking most, is an expanded version of itself through the ability to see itself in different ways. And if you can see yourself in one way and then see yourself in another, this, my love, is expansion. And this, my loves, leads to ascension of the being that you are. Love is what you are, because love is, all that was, and all that ever will be. And you cannot fully love something when there's a part of you that's rejecting it. And therefore, the divinity that lies inside of you accepts all aspects of who you are, not simply those that you deem to be worthy of it. And when you can be in full acceptance of who you are in every moment in time, you have ascended beyond this version of you into the next. And this may take multiple lifetimes to fully access and understand, but I am simply putting out the first steps here and now. And if all that's desired of you is to feel differently inside of you, I am showing you how. Loving you. Nothing more, nothing less is needed. And what's desired above and beyond that is coming from the part of you that questions this. And that's normal. That's part of the journey of ascension, is to question the worthiness of it. See the part of you that questions it and show that part love. And you are well on your way. I love you all so much. There's one more thing I want to add to this. The notion that ascension comes from the desire to love oneself more is not entirely accurate, for ascension contains inside of itself many different aspects of what the soul desires to experience in its incarnation. Ascension is one of them. Expanded consciousness is another. And the ability to trust itself is the third. How can you trust the message I am delivering today? And trust inside of yourself that nothing more is needed. Thank you for listening.